A man is dead after a night of drinking turned into a violent episode between friends in Santa Elena town. On September 12, around 10:30 p.m., the tiny wooden structure on Garcia Street that 61-year-old Ubaldo Guzman called his home became the place of his death, following an argument with a drinking companion. Guzman was chopped several times with a machete. Shamira Badillo, Guzman's niece, got the news of her uncle's death first thing in the morning.
I had a missed call from his son about 2 this morning, and he called me back about 6 o'clock in the morning, and he just told me he had a bad news for me, that they killed my uncle, his dad. And from there he said that the person is there also at the hospital, but that my uncle passed away now. Reaching at the hospital, he bleed out. So that's that he told me so far.
Badillo explained that she was very close to her uncle and visited often, but she does not know the attacker's relation to her uncle.
All along the while, I knew he lived by himself. I didn't know someone was living with him, no. But right behind A&R, he lived there. I know him in the rental place then, no. So until this morning, I found out the guy was living along with him.
The incident occurred in the late hours of the night. Guzman's neighbors were startled by the commotion occurring in the typically quiet neighborhood.
I basically was in my room. The house was already locked up, and my boyfriend was sitting inside, and he's the one that heard the crying for help. We didn't really come out. He just looked through the window, and because we could see from the window, the door was open and we could see directly in the man's house. We just saw a man figure over someone else on the floor. Now, we didn't see who it was. I couldn't see the face clear, but that's what we saw.
Guzman's neighbor was reluctant to have her boyfriend interfere with the scene, as they were unsure of the circumstances. They opted instead to alert the police.
He was the one who said, "Call for help, we need to call for help. Man over there need help." He went to the neighbor's house and he urged her to call for help because somebody over there needs help. I told him, "Don't go over there, you don't want to get yourself hurt." So he stayed inside. We waited for the police to come. He watched everything from the window, and he was the one that was close to the man. I met him like twice, so I know it was an older guy, uses a cane, and has issues with his hand and his leg.
The perpetrator claims that he was acting out of self-defense, alleging that Guzman attacked him with the machete first. But Badillo maintains that violence is out of character for her uncle, who she says is gentle and sickly. About a year ago, he was back and forth at the hospital, unable to use the bathroom without assistance from his family. He intended to undergo surgery to correct the issues with his hand.
He still had issues with his hand. He was looking forward for that operation.
So he had issues with his hands. Was he able to hold things well? Did it give him pain? What kind of issues were it?
Yeah, he said it used to give him a lot of pain. He can't use that hand, so he only had the other hand where he could use, no? So he used to suffer a lot of pain with that hand.
Guzman was a father of 3 and came from a large family. Badillo felt the debt heavily as she had grown close to him during his time of illness.
With me, we were really, really close. Every time anything, he used to call me, "Sham this, Sham that." Like a week ago, he called if we okay, and then he said he might go to Flores because he's up and down to Belize. We check for his hand, but he was okay. He was a great uncle.
The day after the incident, the quiet neighborhood has already returned to its usual serenity, but neighbors still recall the sounds of horror from the night before. And you said you could hear him yelling. What was he saying?
He started off with "help, help," and after that it was just screams.
Britney Gordon for News 5.